All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Voices of Influence, a series that inspires and empowers. And I want to take just a quick moment right now to say Happy New Year's to everyone. I know this is uh, a time of year where everyone is just excited and just pumped up with all their goals. And my wish for you is just to carry that same level of excitement and enthusiasm throughout 2025. I know for me, I'm approaching this year with radiance. And that's just infusing joy into my life and business just by bringing in the fun, the excitement, and just a sense of aliveness in everything that I do. And with that comes Voices of Influence, which is a way to just bring that level of radiance into your life by bringing you dynamic professionals with powerful messages rooted in just defining moments that have shaped who they are today. And it's through those stories that you'll be able to discover how their journeys have influenced the way they serve, the way they help others, and just not only in their personal lives, but in their work. And with that, today I want to welcome Daniela Barraza Escudero. She is another one of the authors of Hispanic Stars Rising, Volume 5, The New Face of Power. And she's another co author that I get to connect with and learn and be able to share with you and have her share with you how she is uniquely contributing to this world through her gifts. So, welcome, Daniela. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for having me. Hi to all your audience. I'm honored actually to be here. I was telling you right before we started that I appreciate that you're creating this important spaces for us, the Hispanic community, to voice or concerns or needs or experiences because we never know who might be there on the other side listening. So I'm honored to be here today to talk about something that so close to my heart, which is perseverance and the power of actually embracing one's identity, particularly or rich and vibrant Hispanic identity. I feel these two themes were not only the foundation to my personal growth, but they were also essential and they continue to be essential to create more inclusive, supporting environments, not only on the workplace, but with our families, our friends, and of course on our communities. So thanks for having me.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. When we initially connected, there was so much to that message that you wanted to share that I felt it was important to just have you here because the story, and it's just but a little snippet of what you shared, really touched me, not only in what you want to share with the audience today, but also in your chapter in Hispanic Stars Rising. And so I'm just ready for today's conversation because I know that your message, it's one that is going to connect with many people and it's going to resonate because it's through our backgrounds and our stories that allow people to connect with us. So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about Daniela and who you are, and then we'll dive into your powerful journey and message.
Definitely. So I was born in El Paso, Texas, a border community, but I was raised across the border, actually, on beautiful Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. For me, growing in a community with a beautiful blend of cultures and values, like the importance of family and feeling a sense of community has been great for me. I grew, I would say, on a lower middle class home, but I was always feeling comfortable, safe, and of course raised full of love. My father, he was a hardworking, kind man, and my mother, as most of the mothers, so I would say all of the mothers, a selfless and loving, caring woman. I was almost 7 years and only child. So at the time, well, most of my childhood, I was a child girl. Now it's hard to believe it, but I was indeed like that. And I grew by nurtured by the care of my parents. Right. It was until the age of 17 when I feel my life changed. Really hard with the unexpected passing of my father. From that moment, I feel like everything I've known in life and dream about, my future, it all shifted. At that time, I already had two younger siblings. My sister, she was 10, and my brother, who was 7 at the time. And as I was saying, I felt like one day I was, a girl full with ambitions for success, growing on education, on a safe place. And then the next day, I suddenly became the head of my household. And then my reality at that moment, I feel it couldn't be further from the future I had imagined most of my life, right? So at that time, I found myself grieving the loss of my father, but also I felt like I was grieving the loss of my mother's emotional being, whose health took a toll on her, of course, and she was struggling with the passing of my dad, and her this culminated with a stroke and a pulmonary embolism on my mom. So everything was, changing drastically, and I guess for the first time in life I experienced true fear in the form of grief, and that's what I actually wrote on the book. And I feel like at such a young age, I had to grow up really quickly. I had to take on responsibilities I honestly never expected, to shoulder, to support my mother and siblings both emotionally and of course economically. But as I think about those times, I feel those early moments of hardship at such a young age became the foundation of something far greater for me. So that same year, when I was in high school at the time, I took the decision to leave kind of my safe place, my secure life, or everything I've known until that moment, right? To migrate into the United States and pursue a professional career. um at that time I feel it was the only way of, going forward, right, and try to provide for my family and work while pursuing a professional degree. So the years that follow were kind of bittersweet, full of challenges, but also full of, success and triumphs for me. I was able to earn my Bachelor of Business Administration and Accounting, and then I decided to get a master's on accountancy as well. So those years were really transformative. And I feel like every hardship, every barrier became a stepping stone. So I learned a lot about adaptability, perseverance, of course, and also these trends that I could find on embracing my roots as an Hispanic person, right? I became really involved on organizations like the American Association of University Women and UTEP's Women in Business Association. So I felt at that time I need to advocate for young Latino girls and women, specifically trying to empowering them through professional development and mentorship. I felt like it was important to remind them the importance of pursuing their professional growth and reminding them that their present shall not define their future. So then years passed, and I feel like my professional career started to flourish when I started working as a grant management accountant. I was supporting the University of Texas Research Division. And then recently, until 2023, is when I joined Attain Partners, which is a consultant firm also in the research administration world that has challenged me and given me the opportunity to continue growing even further. And this is actually something I am really passionate about, my work, right? The work I do, because I firmly believe on the power of education and the importance of supporting institutions in their efforts to make a lasting impact on the lives of students. Through my role, I am really committed to helping these institutions achieve their missions, while, of course, maintaining accountability and transparency. Maybe not the fun part for everybody. And ensuring they and with this, ensuring that they can continue to serve students and that community with excellence. So that's a little
Yeah.
bit about myself.
Yeah, that is quite the journey and the story. I mean, of you just and thank you first of all for just being vulnerable and sharing with us that journey. I know you've shared it openly in Hispanic Stars, but just to hear you talk about it just brings a different level of just connection, you know, and to hear you talk about being that young girl to having that drastic shift happen suddenly in your life, and how that was then the point that, propelled you to every next step that you went through. Um, there's something that I do want to say, and it was your opening or mention, it was
Oh,
your opening sentence
yes,
in your chapter. And I want to read it because I loved it and I want to know more about it.
definitely.
So you opened your chapter by saying, as a little girl, my mother used to tell me I was like a diamond in the making. She said I had great virtues and potential that would be polished by life's lessons and experiences before reaching my maximum splendor.
Yeah.
That's beautiful right there.
Yeah.
And so I want to hear how that, and I'm going to call it quote because I'm pulling it from your chapter, how that quote shaped the way you viewed life through this journey that you just shared with us.
I felt like since an early stage of my life, it was, and I mentioned I grew in a lower middle class environment, right? So my parents, who were really loving and caring, they, especially specifically my mother, she always told me, I mean, the greatest inheritance I'm going to give you is education that we give you here at home, and actually access to good education, right? So we can kind of invest on your future, and you could have a you could pursue a professional career. So when I was little, I feel like she always tried to make these analogies, I will say, because that's something really distinctive about her. And she always try to make this comparison so she can prove her point to when we were young, right? So in this case, she told me that we were all, my siblings and myself, we were like diamonds, and that she was gonna be by our side, also nurturing us and granting us an education, but it will get to a point in where she will step back and let us shine to our fullest, right? And of course, to get to that point, we needed to be polished by life hardships and experiences, and this will take us to unlock our full potential. So I think it's really nice seeing it at this age, right? I'm 33 now. Just thinking about how she always tried to make these analogies for us to, and when I think about those moments, I remember how as a kid I actually pictured that little diamond or stone in my head. So I think that those words stood with me forever, and that's why I decided to make it my opening quote at the book.
Well, I love it because that is such a beautiful way to empower our children, right? And to know that, that was her way of sharing with you guys just something that was going to be almost like a life lesson, right? Like diamonds are beautiful and we are beautiful. And sometimes we have to go through pressure, to be able to rise and shine. Now, you mentioned that your mom talked about education and
Yes.
the importance of, the education that you guys would receive at home, but also the other education in schools. Do you feel that that influenced kind of the journey that you took and maybe the areas that you service?
Now that I see it, I think I'm seeing it right now. Now that you're being vocal about it, I've never thought about that, honestly. But now that you're bringing it to the table, I think I'm seeing it from another perspective. And actually, I think, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not directly involved, as an educator or a teacher or something, but I feel like the work that I do impacts directly and gives access, actually, all the grants and all the funds that the government or other sponsors or private institution give to universities and higher education institutions. It's an opportunity for actually students to continue learning and doing research. So I think it definitely should have now that I see it from this perspective, I think yes, my mom had a significant influence that I decided to, and of course, I got to a point in which I let life just conduct me and kind of to a different place in which probably I picture initially, right? That I want to took my career towards to. So I think it's a combination of both what my mother probably planted that seed with her analogies and the way she explained the world to me, right, at such an early age, and also everything that I have gone through, experiences that took me to this path of research administration. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just the moment that you that I read and I saw the areas that you work in,
Hmm.
and you sharing that, to me, it's almost like, oh my goodness, this was almost like a path, maybe unconsciously, right? That you're serving at such a great capacity to give access to others, which I
Yes.
think goes beautiful with just the message that you like to share and you want to share with people, right? Of that perseverance and, you being able to directly work with organizations that give grants and provide access for others. It's almost like it's beautifully intertwined.
Yes. And you know what? Actually, prior to our talk, I was actually thinking about something else, which I thought unlocked like a really simple but really powerful truth. I feel sometimes hardships are needed for us to unlock our full potential, and there's a quote. I can't even remember where I hear it, but it stood for me for the longest time, and it says something about how hardships or traumas could actually become your most powerful gift. And actually, I would like to actually share it on Spanish because I think it also resonates kind of different. And well, it says something like como los momentos difíciles o las dificultades de la vida o los traumas a una edad pequeña, puedes convertirlos en dones para ayudar a las demás personas. So I think that's
Yes.
a really powerful truth, how adversity shall not define us, and the struggles that we could face either in the form, of financial hardships or grief or anything that you're going through, none of that defines you, and none of that should define your future. Your present shall not define your future.
Yes. And I think this is one of the reasons why I love connecting with people, why I love reading people's stories and sharing them with others, because that's how we learn, that's how we grow. I am fascinated with storytelling because that's how people connect. You're sitting here sharing your stories, and at the beginning, you talked about at a very early age, becoming a head of the household. And
Mhm.
how many people like don't even comprehend what
Mhm.
that means, right? That you're now, by things that happen in life, have to step up to that role at such a young age.
Mhm.
But then there's a whole lot of other people that do connect with that.
Exactly.
That
Yes.
absolutely connect with that. And maybe the reasons why they became the head of their household is very different from yours, but they can connect and they resonate with having to do that, and how that maybe was that stepping stone for them to make another decision and then another and another. And so that's why I believe that in sharing our stories,
Mhm.
it's powerful. It's a
Yes.
powerful way to connect with people. It's a powerful way to build community. And it's just a way to allow other people to feel seen and heard. And
Yes.
I'm sure that there's going to be someone today that is going to come across your message in whichever platform, we're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, but someone is going to come across your message that is going to be playing at a specific time. And
Mhm.
it's something that they needed to hear in that moment.
Definitely.
And that's what I find so powerful. Now, let me ask you this, sharing your story in Hispanic Stars, was that the first time that you shared it in a book?
Yes, that was the first time sharing it in a book, and actually with other people, other than my safe circle, my family or close friends. Yes, it was a first timer, and it was actually a healing process too, because sometimes you don't even know what you're carrying for plenty of years. And I mean, you're striving to become successful, and embracing your roots and continue to grow professionally and emotionally too, and working on yourself. But it's not until exactly what you were just saying, the power of sharing your stories and knowing that your story matters too. And also, I think this takes me to another key point that I also want to touch base to, really important for me at least, is that your story matters too, and that success is relative. I mean, I feel like no story can compare to another. So all stories of success are valid, whether you're in school right now, working on a job, trying to raise the family, trying to put food on the table for your family, involving your community, or navigating through challenges. You still have the potential, to heal by sharing your story, inspiring others, and also kind of remembering, because I feel sometimes we're so dragged into social media that we have this misconception about what success should be. And
Mhm.
I mean, all types of success are valid, whether it's something, that material that you want to materialize, and you want to acquire, or if it's something, I don't know, your family, or if it's a personal goal, or doing something for your community. I mean, success is so relative that I feel it's important to remember that it's not about big moments, or about this everything that we see on social media all the time. It is also about those small everyday acts of courage in which we show our authentic self and prove
Mhm.
ourselves, and embrace our roots that leave a lasting impact to pave our future. So I think that's important too.
Yes, I love it. And I love that you're sharing that it was a healing journey,
Yeah.
because it's something that I hear 100% out of every person who chooses to contribute their story in a chapter or in a book. And as a matter of fact, I did a post on that today that
I saw
talks
it. Yeah.
that talks specifically about that, because it's so true.
It is.
And I love that you mentioned that, because I want people to know that even though they may not consider themselves a writer or an author or this and that, we don't need writers and perfect, stuff. We want authenticity. We want the world to see you just as you are. And so thank you so much, Daniela. Do you have any final message you want to share with the audience?
I will say, just summarizing right now what I was saying. I mean, just being authentic, true to yourself, remembering always where you came from, so you can embrace your roots and be proud of your, in this case, Hispanic community. And also remembering that it's not just about succeeding in the way you feel success, right? It's designed for you, but it's also the way we are paving the path for others to succeed. I mean, it's also about that sense of community, about feeling that we can rise above the challenges we face as a community, and we can also be a light by sharing our stories to other, that we, as we were saying right now in our conversation, we never know who's listening to this message and what they're going through. And also, feel that your story matters too, and you can always embrace perseverance and your hardships, to continue growing and advocating, right, for creating a spaces like this, so you can share your story and give voice to everyone, to so they can feel value and celebrate it. I feel also, as we grow either professionally or work on ourselves emotionally as well, it is really important that we always keep in mind the importance of advocating for inclusive and supporting spaces where voices are valued, and we also can empower, others, and lift each other up in a sense of this collective strength.
I love it. Thank you so much, Daniela. And just like we've said, storytelling is something that, I believe allows people to connect with one another, to see themselves reflected in other people's stories, and just really to get inspired and see what's possible. Because a lot of people see the potential and the possibility in others. And what you see in others is a reflection of what you see within yourself, and you just have to believe it, right? So today, I invite you all to share your story as well. Whether that's through a private message to me, if you want to share a message. I invite you to be a guest here, reach out or share your story through a social media post, or I invite you to be also a part of one of our 5 upcoming collaboration books that are launching in 2025. There are 5 incredible titles that are available for you today. So simply reach out. Let me know you heard about this opportunity in Voices of Influence, and you'll get a special bonus. Once again, Daniela, thank you so much. I appreciate having you here.
Thank you so
To
much.
everyone else, we will see you next week. Next week, we have Amy and Nancy Harrington, and they're the sisters behind the Passionistas Project. And tune in. Next week, we're actually going to have it on Thursday at 11 a.m. to ensure that we still have the opportunity to share the voices of those people that are making a difference in their communities. So until next week, everyone, thank you.
Thank you.